Section 2, content, themes. Let's see. Sidebar. Ron, is the code big enough? Ron told me. There you are, Ron. You're here. Is the code big enough? You were the one that told me it wasn't big enough, right?
Well, yeah. It's okay.
It's not what you think.
I mean, I'm way the heck back to it, so, you know, I can't see it from here, I can move forward.
It's really, really hard to read on the video.
On the video. Was that you that said that?
Yeah,
Okay.
It's like the contrast is washed out.
yeah. So
Okay.
I actually invested in a bigger screen.
Let's see for preferences. Let's see if I can bump it up one more size. Code view. How's that?
Easier to see.
Okay, we'll go with that. All right, so week 8. So today we're going to talk about custom fields and using widgets. Next week, Memorial Day. We are going to then have the lecture on Wednesday, the SEO lecture on that Wednesday. And then week 10, we will do the Flex Slider lecture. All assignments. All assignments due no later than that date is probably wrong.
So we're having our Tuesday class next week, though, right?
Ooh, that's right. This is Tuesday, Thursday, isn't it?
Just checking.
So you're thinking about your section 01.
Yeah, so then we'll lecture Tuesday and then have Thursday lab. And so the people that are in the Monday, Wednesday section, unfortunately, they don't get a lab on Wednesday. They have to have a lecture, but you guys are welcome to show up for lab on that Thursday if you can. How about that? Yeah, how about that, Sherrod? So June 16th. I'll leave it as the 17th, right? Because then I grade somewhere here 19th or 20th, right? So all of your assignments need to be turned in and done before I grade on the 19th or 20th. I think it's the night. Let's just go with the 19th, and I'll put when I'm grading up there relatively soon. Does that make sense? So, custom fields. What are custom fields? Well, you're right, places to put stuff, right? You may not be familiar enough with WordPress to really feel like you need on a posting or a page that extra, hey, I need to use a variable and have a value for that variable. How many of you feel like that so far? Right, nobody. But you may down the road. For instance, if we look at my architecture here, right? These are main pages. These are utility pages. So how do I get these to sit in the main navigation and these to sit in the utility navigation? True, in code, right? But in terms of the WordPress content management system, how do I segregate these as main and those as utility? Does that make sense? Okay, so you guys have already done a navigation schema where you've used the WP nav menu function and the so if I go to menus here in my appearance, I started futzing with it, right? Because I thought, you know, maybe I'll put the blog as a blog, classes, things underneath classes here, calendar, and that kind of stuff. I thought about organizing the menu system like that, okay? But how I have this menu system actually organized is so for my main menu, get my main menu. So main pages equals get pages array. Meta key, navigation, meta value, main. Okay, it's a lot more complex than that, right? For each main pages is main, do this, right? Et cetera, et cetera. But meta key navigation, meta value main then is how this main navigation is populated. So if I go to WEB170, and edit page, custom fields, navigation, main, okay? I have multiple custom fields here that are doing certain things, okay? This is writing a class into the list item. This is kind of a, well, that there writes that navigation item into the navigation. There's no syllabus page, actually. Syllabus is a fake page. In other words, if you guys are like, what? I don't understand what you mean. If I click on WEB170, it defaults to the syllabus page. If I go to schedule, see how this is a page here under WEB170? Syllabus just goes to the root of WEB170. It's actually that. It's a fake page, everybody. Okay. But if I go to schedule, right, how this is a subpage of WEB170. Well, if I go to the What is WordPress lecture, it is also a subpage of WEB170 at the same root or at the same level. In other words, main page, secondary page. For those of you in my Web 200 class, gateway page, destination page. Does that make sense? Okay. So how do I get them to then these set of subpages of WEB170? How do I get them to sit under this section called class? How do I get these to sit under this section called lectures, assignments, students? Who wants to guess custom fields as the answer? Custom fields. You're right. Okay, so in other words, custom fields is a key value pair. Okay, that's all it is. So I also like to say it's kind of a variable value pair, right? In other words, if you need a variable for navigation and you need to say that that navigation equals 1, 2, 3, or 4, right? Well, that's actually an array, right? In other words, this has 4 different, right? So which one of the 4 is it, right? So they define it as a key value pair. So if we took a look at custom fields then, metadata. So metadata is handled with key value pairs. The key is the name of the metadata element. The value is the information that'll appear in the metadata list. So for instance, banner, URL, okay? So all right. Let's see if I spelled it right. Nope. We have Wachschneiten. It's not right. Wachschneiten sounds kind of cool though. Right. So I could have done this here, this image, as a featured image. But when I first put this together, I didn't clue into, ooh, I'll make that a featured image. Instead, I had been using custom fields at that point in time, okay? So you can look at a featured image as a key value pair. Key of featured image, value of what that featured image is. True? True-ish, okay? So if we want to get the client to create a spotlight image and place it into their website, I mean, that's a whole nother issue, right? To actually get them to do that, right? But let's say we wanted to give them the ability to do that, even though the guy that actually does that is this guy, right? Because I'm taking care of that website. The good thing about a content management system is a content management system allows a client to create, update, and maintain content. The bad thing about a content management system is either the client has to create, update, and maintain content, or they get to create and update and maintain content. It's your choice to whichever, right, Sylvia? You know exactly what I'm talking about. So if we then, and by we, I mean I got a double authentication going on here. It threw me when they first implemented that. I was like, did a hacker get a hold of this? But I think maybe I don't know who did it, but all of a sudden there was double authentication there with an htaccess file. Who knows? But if we go back to programs and services page, right? This image, instead of being a featured image, see, I could have used the featured image. Could have. I didn't, right? Banner, URL. Okay, so this image then has been uploaded to the admin area. Last time I searched for it, let's just go see if I can find it real quick. Let's actually go to the beginning. Page 11. Yeah, I'm not going to spend time searching for it. Okay. But just know that I uploaded it through the media library, and I allowed them to then choose that and choose so set up a custom field called banner and let them paste that there. So here you can see that there are custom fields set up: banner, navigation, parent ID, tagline. Okay. I'm pretty sure that a couple of those were generated by plugins that I didn't generate myself, right? But if we go to the training documentation that I wrote for them a long time ago, step 1, resize image, 600 by 340. Step 2, upload the image to your media library. Press that button. Step 3, once you see that file in the media library, you will see the file URL. Copy that. Step 4, go to the page you want to insert that, choose the custom field banner, and paste that URL there. Step 5, preview your nice new image in your page. Okay? So how does this then actually work in terms of pulling the data, right? In other words, I've just shown you, don't fall asleep, Ron, I saw you, right? I've just showed you how to upload an image. You already knew that. Get its URL, where it lives out there in the interwebs, and use that URL as the source attribute for an image tag. Okay? What do you mean by that, Mike? Well, yes, I do have a repository called Kitty Likes Avocado. It is a website that I worked on. True story. REW, Rehab, Washington. There it is. Page.php. Here's the markup for the spotlight, right? Div ID spotlight. So if we view this page, inspect, div ID spotlight, image tag, ID spotlight main image, image tag, ID spotlight main image. And for that image, there is then the female warehouse worker cropped JPEG. So the source attribute for the image, echo, get post meta. What does that mean? So retrieve post meta field for a post. You need to use the post ID, key, and whether to return a single value or not, right? Get post meta for the post ID, banner, true. Okay, so basically for the source attributes, get the field, the value, true, of banner for the ID you're on. Make sense? Okay. Oh, that's just like a lot of stuff, Mike. Do this function for the whatever ID and retrieve this value. I get it. Magic. So if I wanted to get a spotlight like this, But let's say, so again, here's the markup there. But let's say that I'm on a destination page and there is no spotlight, right? So if I go to edit this page, why isn't there a spotlight? Because I have not set a custom field to grab one, right? So that's, if we were writing pseudocode, that's how we would explain it. So what does that mean? If get post meta for the ID of banner is true, in other words, you have set a value for the custom field, the banner on this page, write up this markup. And furthermore, then populate the source attributes with the value of banner. If it exists, put it here, right? That's what we're doing. So that's the real simple way of doing it, okay? If you want a more complex, because you always want a more complex example, Ron, I know you.
Oh,
Always, 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 always.
keep it complex.
Keep it complex. I hear you, man. I respect that about you, Ron. So my main menu. My submenu. My submenu is this over here. Again, each one of these pages in here, except syllabus, because that's a fake page, is a child page of WEB170. Okay? In other words, if I edit this post and we look at and see parent is WEB170. Okay? Navigation, lecture. Get my submenu. Again, main page equals get post meta for the ID, navigation, true. So if, right? So main page is that this is equal to main, okay? Then let's go down and use the WP list pages function, right? You guys know that one. One of the arguments that we can pass through then is meta key, meta value. So list pages for the parent page, list children of the parent page and separate them into lecture, assignment, exercise, team, and students. And class. Class, lecture, assignments, exercise, team, students. Well, not every section of mine has students or team or exercise, right? But in ours, in the WEB170, we have class, we have lecture, we have assignment, we have student. Class, lectures, assignment, students. If we go to, let's say, Web210, class, assignments, teams, okay? Does that make sense? Essentially? Yeah. Let's show you how to really do it, Sylvia, with a practical example. Okay? Let's say you needed to put a value on a page. And you were the teacher and you thought to yourself, what could I do to illustrate putting a value on a page? Much like getting an image to place in a spotlight. And here's what I came up with. It may be a dumb example, but at least you'll get to know how this works. I don't know. When I was trying to think of something to do, I was just, what am I going to do? 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 Right? What I came up with was this. Let's put a quote on your page. Right? And if you know me, does this not right there say, scream Mike Sinkula? The market is flooded with my 2 cents. Now, I did not make that one up. I cannot claim that as my own. However, my son is growing up fast, and instead of saying, you know, Gus, patience is a virtue, I say, you know, Gus, patience isn't just a Guns N' Roses song. So he's growing up as that being normal. My dying wish is before I die, somebody that I do not know says to me randomly somewhere in the universe, you know, patience isn't just a Guns N' Roses song. I will feel like I won at life if that happens. Because this one I made up, okay? At least I think. I didn't hear it anywhere else. Yes, Ron?
Do you have any of the lyrics from Hello Dolly in there?
No.
Just checking.
No.
I knew you were a big fan of that other company.
Ron, this conversation is over. So, how'd I do this? Please, you guys, tell people patience isn't just a Guns N' Roses song. Can you do that for me, please? Would mean a lot to me. That's how I get through my day. I haven't told you I was insane, right? So I set up a custom field called quote, and I put that quote there. So let's do that. And by that, I mean, watch me do it, and you can do it on your own, or if you can keep up right now, you can do it. Okay, so if we go back to then the lecture, let's close some of these. So how do I use custom fields again? In this write-up, I just went through the spotlight image in the RAW, right? Where if get post meta banner true, in other words, if the custom field banner exists and there is a value there for this, then write up the spotlight markup, right? And for the source attribute, echo or write in the value of that there. So we're going to do something similar here. Let's go to our Spring 02. I'm going to go to About. And I really need to fix that image size. But what else? Whatever. We'll do that later. VP admin. About, edit. So currently, we don't have any custom fields, okay? So we need to add one. I am actually going to use a lowercase q and say quotes. And here is where I am going to say then, the market is flooded with my 2 cents. Whoever came up with that one, this right there is a genius. Whoever came up with that saying.
No, that's not yours.
No, I did not come up with that saying. I heard I don't know if this is exactly what I heard a while ago, but I heard something like this. And it came out of my mouth as the market is flooded with my 2 cents. So it could be a game of telephone where this is my quote. So, but I can't claim 100% originality on it. I can claim maybe 5%. Okay. And I update. And I view page. And I need to make that image the correct size, otherwise it's going to kill me. Inspect.
Anything on that custom information?
What? Say it again?
The custom information field, custom.
So, in your, oh, I know what you're asking. Who's asking themselves, I don't see my custom field Metabox? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Raise your hand proud, Kenneth. What do you think you need to do in order to see that? How did you guess screen options? Little birdie? Under screen options, make sure you have custom fields checked. Inspect that image, size large. Content image. Give me a second, I just want to fix that image, otherwise it's going to kill me. Content, image, class, size large, max, width, 620 pixels. That's a quick fix. That's probably not exactly what I wanted to do. What I really wanted to do was sit here while Dreamweaver thinks. That's what I really wanted to do. Don't crash on me. Don't crash on me. Thank you. Great. So now I want to put it in my sidebar. and open up my sidebar file. So right now, if I say begin pull quote, right, in other words, I statically put in a pull quote. So no matter where I am in my site now, I should have a quote. Okay. Or a FPO quote for position only. So I want to make that dynamic. First, I can start out by saying this. If get post meta, right? So in other words, if there is a custom field box on the post ID, for quotes. If this is true, right? So I'm using the if, end if with the colon instead of brackets, right? Makes sense? Everybody understands that way of doing it?
We're getting there.
Okay. That's an honest answer. In other words, Adam, since you asked, I could have done this to achieve the same result. Okay? So now, if the custom field quote exists, write this markup for quote. We're on the about page, and last I remember, I added a custom field of quote in the about page, but I did not add one on the portfolio page, so it's not there. Now what I want to do is grab the value of the custom field for quote and put it right there. Echo. Remember, we're using a function that has get, and the get functions want an echo. You call this a statement or a function, the echo?
PHP
Command? Let's look it up.
Probably statement.
Statement?
Two you gave me.
Statement, function, command? Let's look it up. Because
I'm sure it's a function.
that's going to bug me now.
But it's a standard function. So that
Yeah.
kind of becomes a command.
Let's go to php.net. Is that what it? Echo is not actually a function. It is a language construct. Huh. Learn something new every day. Because if you're not, you're doing life wrong. Get post meta for the post ID for the key of quote. Do it. The market is flooded with my 2 cents. So now if I go to portfolio, no quote. So now that I've created a custom field with the value, with the name of the key of quote, anywhere I go in the site now, page postings, excuse me, right? I'm not sure if when you do custom post types, if custom fields will automatically show up. I'm not sure. Did anybody understand me saying that?
Do you have a test?
Let's test it. I know exactly where to go. You worked on this test. So remember that thing when you were in that class, that productions thing, right? Productions. So if we take a look at this one, and I go up under screen options, it is not there. So I would have to enable it for a custom post type. So that to me says custom fields are automatically enabled for postings and pages. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. So now I'm here, and because I've created one already, in the drop down, it shows up. I update. Drum roll. A view page. And there it is. Okay. So that's essentially how you can use a key value pair that is the custom fields. Yes, Ron?
Could you return an array of values in that field?
Yes.
So if you, for instance, wanted to have 3 quotes that one out of randomly for that.
Would you like me to show you?
I'm just curious. Yeah. Unless I'm distracting from something else.
You're so poetic over there. Would you like me to show you? Well, I am curious. You heard of the site?
I've heard it was excellent. I have never been there. But
He's good. He knows how to talk to me.
it always shows up. This one when I'm searching for Google, that thing's in like the top 3.
That guy knows how to talk to me, man. Yeah, but it's okay, right?
So he would know how to talk to Trump.
Oh, I know that.
So, research, design, develop, right? They each come in one after the other,
Ah,
okay? However, so they're separate. Comma separated values. Okay, so custom field, a spotlight page, research, design, develop. Words. Get post meta. ID. Spotlight page. True. Get. Explode. Words. Have you used explode before, Ron?
I have.
Okay.
And just
Huh?
exploded.
Okay.
Very helpful.
So this then, word 1, get 0. So word number, that one is 0. 1, 2. If words exist, mark it up. Word 1, word 2, word 3. Word 1 gets 0 position, so on and so forth. Is that?
Yeah, just being able to read it in as an array.
Yeah, as an array. Yeah. Yeah. And then what I did here was ID, gave each one of these an ID, and then jQuery brings them in. I mean, he is a brown noser, but he's got a lot of good questions. Yeah. And what teacher doesn't appreciate a good brown noser? Right? We love you, Ron. You didn't hear what I just said.
I can't hear you.
Okay. He was scratching his nose earlier. I'm not. But that's what I do. Okay. So, if the custom field quote exists, write the markup, etc. Okay. I did these things, the comments before, but whatever. Yada, yada, yada. Quote goes here. Blah, blah, blah. Quote goes here. Great. Now, for the second lecture of today. Well, you guys thought we were done, right? We're not.
We still got a full 50 minutes.
Widgets. Here's the thing. The term widgets and sidebar, you will just get hella confused. Do you mean sidebar file? Do you mean sidebar number 1 or 2? Do you mean dynamic sidebar? Do you mean the bar on the side of the house? Probably don't. That's what I can come up with on short notice though. So currently, if you go to your dashboard and you go under appearance, you do not have widgets. If you do, you're ahead. So let's go to the demo. And in the demo, I do have widgets. What are widgets? Well, widgets are dynamic thingamadoohickeys that most often go in your sidebar. What does that mean? See how I can have a conversation with myself? This is a widget, this calendar widget. This is a widget, but it's not a dynamic widget. This is a dynamic widget. Oh, actually, this is. The latest videos are a dynamic widget. This latest photos is something that I hand coded in there. What do I mean by that? So if we look at the sidebar, my Students Premium Design Works page, sidebar, if we're not on the search page, get my submenu, right? Begin widgets. If we are not on page searcher 404, get dynamic sidebar number 1. Always get dynamic sidebar number 2. Then get the social icons, then get the group badges, then get affiliates. So my Flickr is a dynamic something. So if I go to my dashboard under appearance, widgets, I got myself sidebar number 1, sidebar number 2. In sidebar number 1, I have categories and subscribe. In sidebar number 2, I have upcoming events calendar, latest videos, and latest photos, where I'm using shortcode to grab that function I wrote. Okay. So a widget basically is a way for you to then take something here and put it over there. So now, because I did that, and I go to my website, I should see the sign-in, login information in my sidebar. If I refresh. Maybe I won't. I put it in there, didn't I? Put it in sidebar number 2. So sidebar number 2, sidebar number 2, sidebar number 2. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I just put it in there, didn't I? Did I not say that? It's there. students. Sidebar number 2, title. Hello. Save. So it should show up right under latest photos, right? Visit site. Maybe my cache is stuck. Save the cache, turn it back on, refresh. Huh. Well, let's do that. Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? No. Screw it. We'll just say it like this. So here's the demo. Currently, I have in my demo sidebar 1. And currently, I have grabbed the out-of-the-box widget that WordPress provides for metadata, which is, this is the login information, right? So if we go to this demo, sidebar 1 is putting this in there, right? So remember when you guys first initially installed WordPress and were using one of the out-of-the-box WordPress themes, do you remember in your sidebar it had the login, logout stuff? Okay, and you notice how it's gone now? It's because it was a widget in your sidebar. Your theme right now currently does not have any registered sidebars to place widgets within. So let's do that. So in order to get, in other words, so if we go back to, let's just close out my demo and go to the spring section 2, right? In order to get widgets to show up here, I need to go to my functions file, and register sidebars, okay? So, step 1, register your sidebar, okay? So if I use the register sidebar function on its own, here's what happens. Register sidebar. Okay. Now that I've done that, mind you, I have not done it properly, but I've put the function in there. One step at a time. Patience is not just a Guns N' Roses song, you guys. When I refresh, I should now see widgets in there. Because I've registered a sidebar, it has given me the default sidebar 1, where I could now put the widget of, I just used the meta one, and save, and now I don't see anything in my sidebar. Why? Just like everything else, when I enable something, I have to then put them wherever I want to, okay? So the function then to do that is dynamic sidebar. And in this case, we're going to pull in dynamic sidebar number 1. I believe that's the function. Let's see if I got it right. There it is. Okay. The only thing is, it's coming in kind of wonky. Okay. LI, so it's putting in a list item. ID meta 3 class widget meta, right? So this widget then is writing an ID and is writing classes into it. It has then a title and then list items for each one. That's how this widget works. Recent posts. Add widget, sidebar 1. Latest postings. Meta. What if I want this one up there? Latest postings. Meta. Again, coming in inside LIs.
So if you had an extra bullet point or something around it?
No, it's because this, yes, this whole widget is a one list item, so it has a bullet. It's dumb.
Yeah.
What if I want it to be a div tag? Remember, just like our menu system, let's put it in a div tag.
Have to get an entirely different content management system like that.
Incorrect. Let's go to the register sidebar. Let's just go. Why don't I just go click through the lecture and click on the links there to show you that I've linked to these things in the lecture. Good job, Shrug, whatever you just did. So, just like everything else, function, arguments we can use, we can rekey an array. So, before widget, after widget. what is these? What do these mean?
Can't see.
Did anybody notice these when we did our WP nav menu function? And I said, just ignore those. Thaddeus had to use them. What's up, Thaddeus? How you doing, man? Hey, girl. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry, you guys. I have lost it. I have. But I still show up every day. I do. I still show up. Hey, thank you. May the force be with you. You're supposed to say, and also with you. Catholic school. Hooray! Before underscore widget. Div. After, not effort. I'm sorry, you guys. I just typed effort. Well, Benjamin, it's only Tuesday, man. It's only Tuesday. After Widget, I can't cope anymore. I can't take it anymore. Trump is president. It can't. Life is not real anymore. So basically, I can say before widget div, after widget div, and now if I do that, there, begin widgets. So each one has their own div tag around them, but it's not writing the ID and classes in there anymore, right? So let's say you still want to hook into the IDs and classes that WordPress is generating, okay? This is where you can say ID equals and use the characters, the special characters, %1 $S. Class equals. I always want to put the class of widget in there. Why? It's a widget, and that class name is going to be useful to me. But I also want then to have whatever widget it is populate the class, okay? Just like whatever widget it is, I want it to populate the ID. %2 $S. Okay, so now if I refresh, it now, each one is in a div tag and has the ID, class widget, and then widget recent entries. Meta 3, widget meta. Okay? So what I told you a while ago in the, let's go back to it. this right here. UL, so items wrap, UL ID, where we could have given it an ID. But what if we wanted to pick up a class that WordPress generates and write the list items in there? So this is what Thaddeus had to do, right? And this is why I bypassed that at the time, because I didn't really need to put an ID on that UL tag. But if I did, I was going to have to do this. So I opted to just say, yeah, we'll get to it later. Now is later, okay? So where is it? Where is it? Where's the link? Where's the link? Sidebar, parameters, widgets, functions, navigation. Give me a second. Let me find the link. Swear I have a link in here. Yeah, well, if we go here and we look at this or look at that, before widgets, notes uses sprintf for variable substitution. That's what these are. So sprintf will return a formatted string. So how that exactly works inside the WordPress box, I do not know, right? But what I do know is that using those special characters, like they've described there, will allow you to dig into the WordPress box and dig out the ID for the widget and whatever class or classes the widgets want to put in there, as well as you handwrite the class of widget. So for instance, why would I always want to write the class of widget into each one of those? Well, if I look then at my sidebar here, I could use some margins between these things, margin bottom, right? So therefore, one could say that this is a widget, this is a widget, this is a widget, and this is a widget in my sidebar. These are dynamic widgets. This is a widget generated by a custom field. This is a widget generated by handwritten code, okay? So we can use the terms lightly like that, and that's where you may get confused of what exactly is a widget. Well, everybody's going to define a widget a little bit differently, okay? But here's what I want to do. On my sidebar then, I want to go and clean this up. Right? Give it an ID in case I need to call it out uniquely, or give it a class so that I can go back to my CSS and say sidebar div class a widget margin bottom 20 pixels, right? Again, if you've been following my style of writing CSS, my level of specificity is long. Long. My level of specificity is long, lengthy, deep, lengthy, huge. This is going into territory it probably should not. My level of specificity is super specific. I don't know. In other words, I like being specific. Instead of just saying class a widget, I like to specify class a widget on the div tag in the ID element, right? Does that make sense? That's just my style of how I write these things out, okay? So now, each one has a margin bottom 20. Okay? So let's say, though, that you want to write some conditionals. Okay? Just like, now we're not going to write conditionals, but if we look at this, right? If we are not on a page or search or 404, sidebar number 1. Okay, so I've split the sidebars into 1 and 2. Sidebar 1, sidebar 2. And what I'm saying is, I only want these ones to show up kind of in the blog set of pages. These ones I want everywhere. Okay? So, how do I make multiple sidebars? I don't know if I have to make this register sidebars. Without looking that up, let's test it. I do. Now I have 10 of them. So I can call them out by number and use conditionals, right? 10 is too many. What if you don't like having sidebars named by number? What if you want to give them a name? name, slug.
You only made your sidebars after students, or is it like arbitrary?
What do you think?
You know, sometimes you can have restrictions.
It's in a list item. Sup, girl?